All right. All right. So it looks like we are live. We have an excellent connection from what it looks like. It's a couple of minutes early before the show actually starts, which is an anomaly. It's definitely an anomaly. It's a good anomaly that we're starting a little bit early. The station actually hasn't started the show yet. We're probably going to start in about 5-6 minutes going live on WGBB. But the reason why I'm doing this right now is because I wanted to make sure that everything is working properly because we changed the platforms now. We're using StreamYard. And I did put the link in to the description as far as allowing guests to join us on StreamYard, but as usual, we do have a little bit of a scenario. I don't have my own headphones. I don't know what happened to my headphones. Either I misplaced them or I grabbed them in the wrong bag, so I'm not using the headphones. So this time I am actually not going to be giving out the number because I won't be able to hear you. Because I'm not using I'm definitely not going to be using the studio numbers because they're not good ones. I assure you, they're not good ones. So and who knows who's been wearing them or not wearing them. But it looks like Trevor is heated about something right now. Who knows who's wrangling him the wrong way.
Right. There's some certain people, then that wouldn't make sense. But you said nobody.
So the StreamYard link is in there. Anybody wants to hop on, they have the opportunity to do so. It looks like the StreamYard platform is much better than the actual platform from Zoom. So this might actually be the go-to method going forward. I just subscribed and did a year subscription to their service, and I'm not canceling Zoom yet. However, the way it seems, I think this is going to be the way to go. I really believe that's going to be the way. So that being said, we're getting close to start time. Anybody that's coming in right now, we are not officially started with the show. It's not officially started until you hear me do the good evening and welcome to the WGBB thing. You're definitely not. That's definitely not the case. But we will get there. We will get there. Let's see what happens. Look at that. Trevor's all pissed about something. Who knows what he's pissed about?
I don't want that. That's for me. We don't have to go through it again, though. I just say how I feel, you know.
Let's see. We're about a minute away from start. Just in case you're just jumping on, this is what we're going to be talking about right now. A little bit about the town hall that Brian Kavanaugh is doing here in New York. Let's see, where is my StreamYard link? I'm still getting used to this whole platform, but it's definitely not. It is better than what we've been using on Zoom, so I'm happy about that. Grab the microphone. Trevor, I'm ready when you are. Let me know as soon as we're done paying the bills. I'm ready when you are. I don't know where my headphones are, so I'm doing this without headphones. I'm gonna do it like this. I'm gonna do it old school style. I'm gonna do it like this just in case I need them. Disconnected. Go figure. All right. All right. So let's figure this out right now. We're gonna go to 4K, and we're back at 4K. So we're all set. We're all set. So good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Real Estate Plate, coming to you live from the WGBB studios here in America, New York. What happens? I get this shuffle. Something always has to throw me off. Something always has to. I mean, I'm already on high alert right now with a lot of stuff that's happening, but all it takes is one little thing to tweak me, and it just throws me off. You know? Who got you upset, Trevor? I heard you yelling before.
People always say stupid stuff.
Who's giving you trouble? Who's giving you trouble? How do you give a nice, kind man like Trevor trouble? I don't understand. I really don't understand what's wrong with the world today.
I don't understand either.
But there's definitely a lot of things that are wrong with the world today, and I'm only going to touch one of them today. We can only do one at a time. We can't tackle all the problems. But before I dive into the show's topic and really start the conversation going, just wanted to mention to everybody that I did do a full almost almost a 3 hour stream with Matthew Lyman from the landlord. What's wrong with me today? Why am I stumbling? Hey, it's just one of those days. It is what it is. So I had an almost 3 hour live stream that started off with me just testing out new software, and as you could see from the setup today, we're doing things a little differently today. And look, I'm going to show you something. You see that? I have that in the live stream right now. You could actually go click on the StreamYard link and actually join the conversation live with us. Very different kind of setup, and it's actually working out really well. I think I might actually be enjoying this a lot more than Zoom. So I initially went onto the stream to test out the platforms to try to do a little bit of quality control and tests for upcoming streams, including today's. And what happens while I'm doing the live stream? Matthew Lyman jumps on from the Landlord Advocates, and we ended up having a conversation going almost 3 hours live, and I kept that on. And we did get into some real sensitive topics on the eviction moratorium. We started talking about some landlord tales of of our own personal battles and that kind of thing. Kind of getting into what's the best platforms to be able to stream and that kind of thing. So it was interesting, and I do have that still up. So if you wanted to go and see that, you'll get past for maybe a couple of minutes of me stumbling through the technical things that I was trying to check out on there, and it's fun. It was a really fun conversation, and it kind of built me up for today's show, because I was going to dive into what's going on today with you know the lovely things that are happening right now to the landlords across New York. I mean, it's not all New York. It's happening to everybody throughout the nation. But here in New York, we're special, so we gotta make it a little more severe here. Why? Because we're New Yorkers and we're tough, and so we gotta take a lot of tough things into consideration, and we gotta take more abuse because we're New Yorkers and we should take it. Or apparently that's what they tell us, right, Trevor? Here in New York, we're supposed to be more, tough, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that's why we get abused more.
All the time. We talk about it from other states all the time.
They have to give us further abuse here because we're special. We're the special people. So tax us more. Put an ironclad claw on us and do it as you wish with us. That's what it means to be a New Yorker. So, all kidding aside, you know, I'm partially kidding because you know very well that I'm not a real friend of what's happening right now to all the small businesses and the landlords out there, the restaurateurs, the people with the gathering facilities such as I don't know, movie theaters, this, that. You got a whole bunch of stuff that we're dealing with right now. So partially kidding. I'm not necessarily kidding 100%. And again, I'm a little bit embellished right now because I'm not wearing my headphones, but I'll make sure that I find those headphones. Either somebody took my headphones, I misplaced them, or they fell out of my bag. It's one of those three options. I'll get to the bottom of it. Let's see. Bet one of my kids took my headphones, wanting to play games or something and use them. Who knows? Either way, next week I'll have them again. But let's get into the topic. So why do I want to dive into this a little bit today? So there is as you can tell from here, a virtual town hall with Senator Brian Kavanaugh, our own Senator Brian Kavanaugh. And he invites you to a virtual town hall to discuss state and local issues that affect our communities with special guest appearances by other elected officials. Okay? So they're going to be talking about things on a broad scope. And there's going to be a lot of landlords that are going to be tuning in to check it out. And it's going to be over, here, I'll give you the coordinates. Visit bit.ly. I don't know, should I put that into the stream? Anybody's listening and you want me to put it into the, where is it? There you go. If you want me to type that in, I'll type it in and everybody could see what the story is with that. You could go on there. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to make it because it is starting 7 o'clock and it's ending at 8:30. And as you all know, the show ends exactly at 7 by the time I actually put everything together, pack up, and run out of the studio and get to my next destination, which should be home because I'm rushing to get home today because it's my baby boy's 15th birthday and I want to be there to cut a cake with him and at least see him at a normal hour today, or semi-normal. I don't know if I'll be able to make it at all or even partial part of the event. So that being said, for that reason alone, I'm going to hope that other people are actually on there. I've asked a few people if they could possibly record it and send me a link or send me a Dropbox with a recording. That would be fantastic. I'm not sure. I think we're getting a bunch of echo in here. I'm not sure what's going on. Trevor, are we getting a lot of echo today?
I hear it.
Okay, I'm just making sure that's not the case.
I hear it.
All right. It's just my head that's echoing. It's just my head. typical. So that being,
I can give you a headset if you want one.
no, don't worry. I got. Listen, even beyond this whole COVID situation and this whole thing, I've always had a germophobia of people because I don't need a COVID. I don't need diseases to be floating around.
I hear you, man.
However, I have an issue with people being disgusting, and there's a lot of disgusting people out there even before our pandemic. So.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. When I get here, I wipe everything down. So
Yeah.
I got your microphone clean. Your seat. Sterilize it before you get here.
So I got a germophobia when it comes to like putting like these headsets. I know that you sterilize them. I know you do. But I'm freaked out by some of these nasty ears and the head and possible head lice. Who knows what's in there? I don't want anything to go right in my ear canal. How's that as a so there could be there could be absolutely nothing wrong with them, and I could be just over the top paranoid. But you know what? There's other people out there that are way more paranoid than I am over a lot simpler and a lot less things. So we all got our hang-ups. That's one of my hang-ups. So I'll make do. I'll make do one way or the other. But like I said, the link is in the chat if you're watching. And you know what it is? It's because I'm not wearing the headphones. I'm hearing the back speaker over there. That's what it is. That's what's throwing me off. Usually I wouldn't realize that was the case. That's exactly what it is.
No problem.
So I was hearing that,
okay.
And I'm saying, what the hell's going on, man? I'm hearing things.
My fault. I'm sorry. I didn't really turn the speaker up.
No, not a problem.
I just wanted to make sure you were coming over. That's why.
We found the culprit. We found what was the issue. But let me try to find the link to this event thing that's happening right now with Kavanaugh. Let's see if I can find it. And if I can, that would be great for anybody that wants to jump in there. And I want to kind of help prep some people into possibly knowing the kind of questions to ask. Because what happens a lot of times when you go to these town halls, you get all amped up. You're hearing things. You don't know how to react to certain things. I mean, it's there's not a right or wrong way to react to things because you're reacting and that's your own personal way to do it. However, if you want to get any kind of validity or any type of results from your statements or you grabbing the platform, being able to discuss or putting a comment in there, you got to structure it in a proper way to be able to get their attention and for them not to ignore you. Because that's one of the other things. I've been on a lot of these town hall kind of things, chats, where my comments were completely ignored. And I assure you that they are completely valid. Without a doubt, they were completely valid. And they basically don't like what I have to say because it doesn't work for them. Believe me, it does not work for them in any way. And what happens is you get lost in the shuffle. And there's so many things that are flying through those chats, especially if they don't give anybody, I don't know how they're going to conduct it, where they're actually going to give anybody the chance to speak directly, or they're going to only read it from the chats. We'll find out soon enough how that's going to work. But, since we don't know what the case is going to be, you're going to have a scenario where they're going to be picky and choosy. So there's a couple topics that I really want. Like I said, I don't know if I will have the opportunity to be on there. I will do it my very best to try to do this. I'll keep it I'll Bluetooth it to my car as I'm driving, so I can at least listen along as it's going on. Um, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to actually participate. So um, one of the things that I think needs to be emphasized and needs to be like seriously, directly addressed is beyond the eviction moratorium that we're dealing with. Right now, we have the rental programs and we have the assistance that's being given to certain individuals that, one, were able to apply in time before the money ran out, and two, that were eligible to actually receive some funds. So you have that part of the equation that's trying to make some people as whole as possible. The other issue that we're having right now that hasn't been really addressed, and it's kind of been swept right under the rug, and that is what is happening to all the individuals that actually lost a significant amount of income and rent during this time, and the tenants got up and left during this time before they were even able to apply. What happens to all those losses? How are they going to rectify that? How are they going to fix that? Or even in worse and more severe situations, or when they happen a lot, where people had to get paid off they actually had to pay off the tenants to leave a substantial amount and took the losses on top of that. How are they going to rectify that? These are the things that we really need to dive deep into, and they need to be addressed. And when the questions are being asked, they need to be directly asked and directly um, and clearly stated. That way, they can be answered clearly. Now, you're dealing with a politician, so the odds of that politician actually being straight and direct with you is highly unlikely. But we're going to do our best. Everybody needs to do their best to try to get some clear answers. And if that answer is an answer like, we're not going to do anything for you, at least now we know what the answer is. It's not an acceptable answer if you ask me, and it's not an answer that should be even considered, but it is an answer, and it is a direct and clear answer. Because a lot of, what it is they're holding a lot of individuals right now with hope. And it's the worst thing to do, actually, playing with people's hopes. You're hoping that this is going to get solved sooner or later. You're hoping that your tenant will eventually start paying. You're hoping that there'll be relief funds that will make up for the difference of what you lost or the money that the person's in arrears. You're hoping that this doesn't go another 2-3 years beyond the eviction moratorium of trying to get this person evicted and lose additional funds and put yourself in further debt. You're hoping. You're hoping. And that's something that is an awful thing for people to play with, your hope. It's almost it's almost like you're dealing with a crooked pastor or a crooked priest or something like that, and they're selling you hope. They're selling your hope, but at a price. They're trying to collect money and sell you that hope, and keep giving you just enough to keep pulling you back in, back in, back in. Well, it's not that much different right now. The politicians are selling us hope, but they're actually not even giving us anything. They're not even spreading a good word to us. They're not doing anything that would really accelerate and um, fix the situation or start to fix the situation. So, like I said, Kavanaugh is going to be on from 7 to 8:30, and I'll be really quite frankly with you. There's been so many of us that have approached him. There has been so many of us that have approached him, and he really has been speaking on both sides of his mouth up until now, hasn't really done anything of substance to help the landlord community. Promises, selling hope. I'll try. I understand you. When's that gonna end? The I will understand you, and I understand you. I feel your pain, and then do nothing about it. When's that end? Or we'll try. We'll see what we can do. Or even worse, when the politician starts pointing fingers to each other, they say, "Well, it's not my. There's not much I can do about it. It's up to them to be able to do it." And then they turn around and tell you that it's actually not me that is responsible for that. It's the other lawmakers that are actually doing things. And you're getting back and forth. You're getting back and forth. You're just getting a continuous cycle of finger pointing, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm really upset that we've gotten to this point, and there's so many other people that are upset that we've come to this point. And what do we do? What do we really do going forward? How do we combat this? There are ways to do this. There are ways to combat this, but not the ways that a lot of people are willing to go. It really is the I don't know what to say. It really is the road for people that are at the end of the rope. Because here's the thing: realistically, if we were able to all unify as a collective unit of all landlords and housing providers, and actually say, you know what, enough is enough. We're all not going to pay taxes. All of us, not even one penny. You're not going to get one penny of revenue. What are they going to do? Confiscate and put liens on every single person that's a landlord's property? No, it's not feasible. It's not. It's not. It's not possible at that point because everybody's doing it under unification. And if there's nobody out there that was willing to take on the burden and the headaches, buy those properties that they possibly might foreclose on or lien or put liens on or whatever the case is, then they're even in bigger trouble. And here's the thing, you know, everybody's pushing for more affordable housing that's public housing and government-run housing. And I've said this many, many times in the past. How's that working out with the few facilities that we already have? How's those public housing projects working? How good of an environment is that? Is it a better environment than the private sector? Well, you do have some lousy landlords, and maybe it's better than those properties. But as a collective and as a whole, I could assure you, without a doubt in my mind, that you're better off in the private sector because those buildings, those properties are being better maintained. It's just how it is. I'm wrong? No problem. No problem. Here's a great solution. How about if we're doing such a terrible job and we're not doing as good as the public housing is, why doesn't the government just collectively buy all our private rental properties out there, all the housing properties, investment properties, and take them over? Buy it for fair market. We're not going to gouge you. Whatever the fair market, whatever today's market rates are, you buy them from us. Just as long as we walk away with our money that we put down there. Forget about our heartache and our losses and everything like that. Go ahead, collect them all, take them all, pay us a fair market wage, and after you're done doing that, you run the facilities. See how people love that? Because I assure you, they won't. They won't. I could assure you that there's an unimaginable amount of violations that have been hit onto NYCHA properties. I don't know if people realize this. Year over year, NYCHA is one of these organizations that are doing government-assisted living, and year over year, they're constantly in the top slumlords or worse violated properties in New York. Is that a coincidence? Is that by accident? No, it's not. Because how are you going to fine or how are you going to give a violation to a property that is run by the same agencies and the same governing bodies that are issuing these violations? It doesn't matter. You could hit them with $500,000 fines. Well, man, $1 million fine doesn't matter because it's going out of one pocket to the other, and that doesn't even reflect it. The violation, it doesn't matter if they rack up violations. There's nobody that's going to take these properties from the government. They're the government. That's how it works. Do people really not understand how that really happens? What happens? Do people do really are they really not clear on that? I don't understand. I've seen big rallies, and I've seen big lines, and I've seen enormous demonstrations outside of government-run facilities. And the toxicity and the venom that flows in those type of rallies and demonstrations is unlike any other. But yet people are calling for them to take away something from the private sector. I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. And I really got into that with Matthew yesterday on the stream, and we didn't even touch. We didn't get to didn't get past a small tip of all the stuff that we could talk about. And that's probably one of the reasons we're going to actually try to do something that's regularly scheduled, either a weekly show or some type of regular type of format where we're going to collaborate and we're going to have discussions, open discussions with each other, talking of the topics of the day, and possibly having other people involved as well. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that much. For some reason, the link is not coming through for Kavanaugh. But let me see if I could actually manually let me see if I could actually physically type it in there for everybody. Let me write Kavanaugh. Town Hall. There we go. Okay, I think I got it in there. Well, let's spell his name right, because if I don't spell it right, then I'm going to get all the people that are calling me illiterate, and that's not fun. And I usually get that. So bit.ly /SD26 Town Hall. I'm actually doing this. I'm speaking out loud while I'm typing this in, just in case there's anybody over there in the radio world that's listening, and I'm sure there's a lot of you that can't actually see the screen. So the link is bit.ly Y backslash SD, S is in Sam, D is in dog, 26, the number 26, Town Hall. And again, if you get to a computer and you're watching this, you'll be able to actually click on the link and be able to, it'll take you straight there. I think you got an RSVP for it. I'm not sure 100%, but I assure you that if you go and click on it, you'll be able to go there. But that being said, there's a lot of things that need to be asked. One, and I think that's a really important topic to hit and see how he will go out of it, because I assure you he will. When that's brought up, he'll find any excuse on the book to how that's going to be addressed, or he'll be a direct and stand up guy by at least tell you the truth and say we will not do anything for you. Not sure if that he's going to do that or not. Because nobody ever likes to do. Because I'll tell you something: the backlash that he'll get down the line, right immediately right after that, will be pretty strong. Will be pretty strong. So, what are they going to do about all the losses that are not attributed to actually current tenants, that are directly linked and affiliated with the mandates and the eviction moratorium put in place? That's the number one thing that I think should be addressed. Another thing that absolutely needs to be addressed is what will they be doing to be able to make sure that the courts are optimally working and running correctly, and how are they going to be addressing the backlog and congestion of all the cases that are pending, not only during these 2 years of a moratorium time that we're dealing under this pandemic world, but all the ones that have been sitting and lingering prior to our lockdowns. Because there's plenty of cases out there that have started and have not moved anywhere forward since the lockdown and quarantines and eviction moratorium have hit us. What are they going to do about that? What are they going to do about that? Or let's take it on a commercial end. What are you going to do to make the landlords whole that have commercial properties that have been put in a position to have to modify their leases and either prorate their leases or backload their leases or possibly defer some of the payments or possibly spread out the payments? What are you going to do to make them whole as well? Or the ones that are just decided to give a one-time waiver for lost rent to their tenants so they could keep their tenants at least? What are you going to do to them? How are you going to rectify that? It's a real thing. I deal with it all the time. I'm dealing with landlords and with tenants, modifying leases, trying to work with whatever case we have. And in this case, you know what? It's not a one-sided thing. In some cases, it is. Don't get me wrong. You're going to have people that are going to manipulate the system, and they're going to take advantage of the system in all different kinds of ways. Without a doubt, this is going to be happening. But the majority from the commercial sector, from the small businesses, are not working the system the way it is on the residential system. I can assure you that. In a lot of these cases, these restaurateurs, these small businesses, these retail locations, these public gathering type of businesses, the pubs, the bars. All right, you might not like bars or you might not like pubs or whatever the case is, but that's not you to be the moral police and tell them that your businesses should suffer. It exists. These people spend hard-earned money, in a lot of cases, blood, sweat, and tears to build up that business, only to have you tell them you can't operate. And I understand. I completely understand. There is a pandemic We love using that word, pandemic. There's a pandemic out there. I understand that. But what you need to understand is what puts you in the position to tell people that your life is not worth anything more than somebody else's. It's okay for financially devastate you because that's what's happening. They're isolating sectors, they're isolating separate groups, and telling them that you're. In other words, you're expendable. It's the truth. They dissected the economy and the work sector and said to themselves, "You're okay to keep running business. You're okay to keep running business. You're okay with it, and you're not. You're not. You're not." Sometimes it was medically and scientifically proven of why they wanted to do it, but they're not doing anything to rectify the situation. They're not fixing the situation. So people are taking losses left and right, and what they're being given, is in some cases loans. Now, some of them might actually have the loans waived, possibly, no guarantee, but it's still coming out of somewhere. Where's all this money coming from? It's very difficult to understand how you could keep printing money to keep sustaining certain things going on, these loans, only only to have it waived. It's impossible for me to comprehend how that could happen and how that keep happening. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being pessimistic. Maybe there's a grand scheme and plan in the sky in the world where I can't understand it. It possibly might be something like that. Anything is possible. Unicorns might come from the sky and run on rainbows all in front of us, and then at the end of the rainbow, there might be a leprechaun with a pot of gold. Anything is possible, right? Anything, as long as you believe. Come on, people, come on. They're making it very difficult to be supportive of all the laws that they're putting in there. It's already difficult to be able to support a lot of stuff that goes on, and a lot of the trash and the garbage that they spend our government money in, our tax dollars in. It's hard, very hard to be able to swallow that and absorb. Now it's happening in such a blatant way. I really want to see some people in a very uh, thoughtful way and productive way to go after not only guys like this, but to go after all the politicians that are making these laws and get some accountability. Because that's what we're lacking these days. We're lacking accountability from all ends. It is criminal the amount of lack, not the amount, the lack of accountability that individuals are taking on. You're creating these laws, and what you're doing instead, you're passing the bill to somebody else, or you're pointing to somebody else. It's not right. It's not right. And they're saying we're going to have a homeless situation. They say, oh, well, then you know what, Mr. and Mrs. Politician? Then you open up your doors. You probably have a couple extra bedrooms. Share your space if you're feeling so lovely as far as the homeless situation that might be happening. And I'm not saying this in jest. I'm not making light of the fact that there's going to be people that possibly will go homeless. But I also know that there's a lot of government-run facilities that are meant for those homeless individuals, that they could go there and try to get themselves together. That oftentimes homeless people don't use or refuse to use. Oh, you didn't know that? That's actually a fact. There's plenty of facilities that are out there that a lot of homeless people refuse to go to because it's, in some cases, very dangerous for them to go there. They're scared to fall asleep there and might maybe never wake up. Now, I'm not going to get into the ins and outs of all that. And you want to talk about that, we could talk about that and make a whole different show about that. But what I'm telling you right now, and I'm trying to be as clear about as clear on as possible, is that if you're going to be tackling this island, you're going to be talking to individuals like this, individuals just like this. You need to go armed with knowledge. You need to be clear about what it is that you're looking to have done. You need to have your own agenda, because I assure you, they all have theirs. This is happening over in Brooklyn Heights, and it's funny. They're not. I don't think they're even allowing people to go in there. They're doing it virtual again, which is, in my personal opinion, that's a cop out. That's a cop out. They're refusing to do a lot of these public assembly kind of things initially because of COVID and trying to stay safe and that kind of thing. Yes, we have the Omicron right now, and then months ago we had Delta, and then before that we had the regular coronavirus, and then before that we had the regular flu. There have always been things that have gone through, and here in Brooklyn, they're only allowing back, part of the 5 boroughs, you could only go to public assembly places or any type of public setting. If you're vaccinated, you have to show your vaccination card. So why aren't they doing this in-house then? Use your laws. Only allow people that are vaccinated to go there if that's the case. Why? Because they don't want to have people face-to-face with them. It's a lot easier to press a button and say mute. Or you just wrote a message inside the chat. It's a lot easier to just ignore it or let it scroll through. Or it's a lot easier to answer something the way you want without somebody questioning how your answer is coming out. During the elections, you had a lot of situations where people wanted to virtually debate. Virtually debate. How do you virtually debate? If you're not looking at the person face to face and answering on the spot and getting past the point of the mute button, how are you going to get your actual thoughts out in the proper way? Because you're not the one that's controlling the mute button. It's the other people that are controlling it. These are the things that people really need to understand that are happening right now. And they need to be able to go into these town halls and these virtual type of settings in a way where they can actually have some kind of productivity. I don't know what the proper way to do that is. I know there's a few of my peers. There's been a lot of people that are part of the groups that I'm also involved in that have almost become professional town hall guys or women. They've become really good at actually finding a way to get in, to get questions answered, that kind of thing. Not sure if I'm the best qualified person to be able to do that. I have been able to corner some people and get some answers, but not more than not, I am actually coming back with either negligible things or items that really don't help me in any way. or help anybody in any way, to be quite honest with you. See this? I got all heated up, and I didn't ask for my endorsement from Starbucks again. By the way, Starbucks, my eyes on you. I'm waiting for that endorsement for the real estate plate. We'll get it one day or another. We'll. What is going on here? What is going on? Of course. What is going on? We got the. You see, anytime I tackle something that's a bit, uh, is it a is it a coincidence, or is it something more nefarious that's happening right now that is causing my streams to get interrupted? What is it exactly that's interrupting the streams? I don't know. It's interesting. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something. I just had to regroup and find out. That's actually why I like the StreamYard platform a lot better than Zoom. I've had these interruptions in the past, and I was able to actually adapt really quickly and have it adjusted. We'll see on the replay how it looks, but at least we're making some progress. We're using technology. We're using technology to our betterment right now. And StreamYard right now is actually proving the technology is getting a little bit better with the streaming platform. Seems that way. Hoping it's that way. But that being said, like I said before, to discuss state and local issues that affect our communities with special guest appearances by other elected officials. I'm just wondering who he's going to bring. What special guest appearances is he going to have? Is he going to bring anybody of any kind of substance there? Is he going to have the governor over there? Is he going to possibly have the newly elected mayor of New York City there with him? I'd rather not see de Blasio there. There's no reason for them to be there. I'm just waiting to see the days dwindle and pass us through to the end of the year, and for him to officially step away from Gracie's mansion. I'm waiting for that to happen. And if I never hear another word out of him, I'd be so much happier. But that's my bias. There's one or two people out there that agree the same way I do, that believe the same way I do. We want to hear from you. What topics would you like to discuss? Well, I did add some topics that I wanted them to discuss. Let's see if they actually discuss them. And there's other landlords out there that put the same topics out there. Let's see. I'm very curious. I'm very hopeful. I'm very optimistic. No, I'm not. I'm not that optimistic as far as any type of positive resolution or results to come out of this. But we'll find out. We'll find out soon enough. I recommend that people actually tune into this and actually see what he has to say, because people like him that are representing us here in the state. I want to see. I want to see. But one thing that he does leave himself open a little bit on, he is on all platforms. He is on Instagram, he is on Facebook, and he is on Twitter. And he goes by the handle at Brian Kavanaugh. And why? Now, I'm sure he could censor it, and I'm sure he could block it, and I'm sure he could delete certain commenters, and I'm sure he could block people or get them thrown off the platforms if they get a little bit too rowdy as far as their comments. And that's the other thing that I do suggest, that if you're going to be commenting on one of these politicians type of platforms on social media, or if you're going to send them a message in a way where it's publicly out there, I strongly recommend that you think it through well before you write that comment or make attach that message. Make sure that it's done in a way where it's one, um, not attacking, disagreeing with somebody doing something, and grieving out your frustrations is a completely different thing than attacking somebody. I'm just making sure that everybody's clear on that. You want to make sure that you're not doing that, because I assure you, if you go and turn around and you put something really, really either hateful or attacking or whatever the case is, you're either going to get blocked, they're going to delete you, or something like that's going to happen. Even if you're right, even if you're 100% right and the whole world's behind you, even if the politician doesn't delete you or, and block you, the platforms will, because they'll deem it something improper. So you have to be careful of how to approach it. There's people that get blocked all the time on these social platforms, all the time. Um, Somebody just got blocked for I forgot who it was. I just was speaking to somebody. Somebody got blocked for a week off of Facebook for making a statement on a post, something to along the lines that an ignorant statement or something like that. Now, calling somebody ignorant, yes, it can be taken as an insult. However, is it really? Saying that somebody's ignorant is basically stating that that person is ill-informed or does not fully comprehend the topic that they're approaching. That's all they're doing. Is that really the wrong thing? I don't know. Is it worth getting banned or blocked off of Facebook for a week? I don't know. But Facebook people, the Zuckerberg alliance, they think it is. So they're going to block you. And they're well within their rights to do whatever they choose to do because it's their platform. They own the platform. And until the shareholders, who are the investors behind the platform, speak out and say, we don't like this, we're going to pull out our money, till that happens, they're going to keep doing whatever they choose to do. It just works like that. Oh, you didn't realize that's the case? It is. That's how it works. If I have my own platform, I do have my own platform. I have my own radio show. I'm here at WGBB. Now, I like to hear all sides of the story. And even if I don't agree with somebody, I have no problem having conversation with them, a debate with them, having them online with me, having conversation, no problem. No problem whatsoever. But if somebody gets under my nerves, somebody gets me the wrong side, I have a problem. I have the ability to one say, Trevor, hang up on that person if they're calling up. You're laughing, but I do have that power. And if they start cursing, he's going to do it anyway. He's got this button, and he's got this button, and he goes beep beep beep. He's going to beep the hell out of you. You know he's got the censor button. He's got that. But we got the power of hanging up on somebody. I have the power of muting somebody if they're streaming live with me and they're on the platform. I have that ability. I choose not to use it unless somebody's doing something really bad. Like I said, if you're cursing and stuff like that while I'm on the radio show, I'm, sorry. It's a little thing called FCC, and they don't like that. They like giving big fines. How much are the fines now?
Depends on what it is. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't want to know. I don't want any FCC fines. Leave those for Howard Stern.
Yeah. He makes enough money so he can pay.
At one point, the way they were hitting him, I don't know how much money you have to make to be able to. At one point, they were hitting him with like $1 million worth of fines a year.
No, they can't touch him that much now because I think he's on a different.
Yeah, now he's on Sirius, but still, when they were hitting him, they were. I don't care how much of it that hurts. That hurts a lot.
Most of that money comes from the station money anyway. Yeah.
Still hurts them. And it hurts them on the contracts and all that stuff. So I don't want to deal with that. Not happy with that. But that being said, if you're catching now at the tail end, what we're talking about is the virtual town hall that's happening with Senator Brian Kavanaugh. Did you know that he was doing that? Yeah, he sneakily put that out there because I don't think people really want to know. They don't really want to know. I have a lot of people on there. They want to have the people they want on there. So they put it up. We'll see what happens. Maybe he'll do something that's actually proactive. Am I being too optimistic?
Yes.
Am I asking for a Christmas miracle?
Time will tell.
I'm asking too much. Maybe I'm trying to pull that New Year's wish way too early. Maybe I'm thinking there is a Santa Claus. I don't know. I'd love to believe that's the case. But that being said, like I said, everybody that's watching, I do have the link for Kavanaugh's town hall in the chat stream, and I'm going to put this up on the screen again. You can see it right there. bit.ly/SDS as in Sam, D as in dog, 26, the number, town hall. Go ahead. Go check him out. See what it is. Maybe you'll be able to throw something at him that will actually get him to actually motivate. Let's see. I hope that's the case. But that being said, I'm going to do the thing that I never do. And people tell me, why don't you do that? I'm going to do that. I'm going to tell you to press the like button if you enjoy this stream. If you hate the stream, you're more than welcome to do the dislike button. I have no problem. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to like everything I do. Subscribe if you do enjoy the type of content that we're doing. And just like every week, I'll be back again with you next Monday between 6 to 7 on the Real Estate Plate here at WGBB. And next week, I believe, is our last show of the year. Is it the last show that we're doing of the year?
I think so, yeah.
I believe that's the case.
Yeah.
And that is because I am merciful on myself. I'm merciful on Trevor. And we don't want to give people grief on the 27th of December. So we're going to go out with a bang next week. It should be fun. We'll be building up to those next year. I'll do a lot of streams in between. And until next week, have a great night. Have a great week. I'm going to go home and I'm going to spend time with my baby boy that just turned 15. And I'm done for the night. Have a great night. Make lots of money in real estate. Thanks for joining. Let's see what comes out of that. I have no faith in this guy actually giving us something productive.